welcome to VivaciousSpeaks, the new American Revolution. Today we have with us Reverend Dr. Phyllis Hatcher, our political specialist. Good morning.
Good morning,
I
Vivacious.
should just say hello. How are you today?
I'm fine. How are
We
you?
are always so happy to have you in the house.
Thank you so
But
much.
But today you were requested
Okay.
because people feel like they don't know what's going to happen. And they want to know that we're not in the know, that, what's going on for real politically. What should we do now? How do we handle the situations that we find ourselves in? And they're asking me to call you so you could tell us about that.
Well, thank you again for having me here, but I tell you, that is a good question. And I just want to just be clear on a few things, as we move forward. When you ask the question about where we are and what are we doing and what we need to be doing, as you all may know, that we are in a election cycle. The election starts in November. And of course, you may know that we have two candidates that are running. I heard someone say that we have a donkey and then we have an elephant, right? So that means that we have a Democratic Party and then we have a Republican Party. But the main issue and the goal is to be a registered voter. That's the first thing. So once we get past that part, then we can continue on having conversation.
Okay, well, let's continue the conversation. We're talking Democrat and Republican.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm talking to people, I'm telling them, with this election being so different from anything we've ever experienced in life, and what was really scary to me is when one of the candidates said, vote for me and we don't ever have to vote again. Oh, what does that mean? Okay, that's, first of all, we're a democratic nation, so we should, a republic, some people like to say, so we should always be voting. It should always be the people's voice. But at this time, I'm thinking we can't be Democrat or Republican. We can't be for them. We have to be for us.
Exactly.
Will our world even be the same after this election? This is something that we've never experienced before. And I think that that's the fear of people, with January 6th occurring, what occurred then, and I saw the movie the other night. I'm like, oh my God, what are we headed into? Are we prepared?
Well, I was in Washington a couple of weeks ago, and I was asked to speak on this thing that's called Project 2025. Now, when you ask where are we heading, and then when you ask questions of conversations that you may heard about dictatorship, right? And where are we heading? Well, twofold for that for me. Politically, you have to be a registered voter. Spiritually, you have to believe in something, right? And so when you ask where are we heading, I mean, that's really a big question, because if you spiritually, you say, scripture says that you're not of this world, you're just in this world, right? So then,
Exactly.
So therefore your beliefs are spiritually believed. But then at the same time, we are in this world, and also the word tells us that you have to obey the laws of the land. So now the laws of the land brings us back to the voting processing. So who do we choose, right? So do we choose a person that wants to be a dictator? Or do we choose a person that say they're for all people, right?
Right.
So, that's kind of, iffy for me, because I like to kind of like stay out of trouble. But then sometimes, John Lewis would say, as long as that we're in good trouble, right?
Right.
So we're in good trouble now.
Well,
so,
let's get in good trouble.
All right. So good trouble for me is reading Project 2025, which is bad trouble. All right. The dictatorship from the Project 2025, everybody say that it was a Trump issue. But really, after doing a little study on it, 2 years ago, it was brought up by the Heritage Foundation, which put in so many millions of dollars in to make this project work for that type of dictatorship. So we talk about schools, We talk about health care. We talk about women's rights. We talk about LGBTQI. It talks about everything that involves us as a nation. So then we look at the other side of a candidate that wants to give, I would say not give, but wants to have an opportunity for everyone to have good health care, good public schools, and then for everyone to have a right to choose, right?
Right.
So we're in a whole lot of different categories. So let's just pick one. All right, so let's just pick the right to choose. We just heard the other day that the Supreme Court, at first they had the little issues, they denied. So now we're back in as Georgia being a state that does not give a right for abortions, right?
Right.
So now a right to choose. I am a woman. At least God knows that I am. So I want to be able to choose my right as far as what goes on with me, with my body, as far as what my medical doctor could say was right for me. I do not need the government telling me as far as if I decide to abort or to keep life, that should be my choice. It should not be headed for the government to tell me about that. So we're talking about those choices and issues, and I think that's really is going to be on the ballot this time, as far as a woman right to choose, because as you may know, and I know, that women are 75% of voters. So if we are 75% of voters, and then we have this issue as far as what we want to do to choose, I think and I pray that we would end up with the right solution.
Solutions. That's a big old word that we need to cover a whole lot of things. And I think that a large number of people, especially people younger than me, I found myself more in this election season explaining civil rights and why, especially to people who come into this country and don't understand what we went through as a people. And how do we bring back faith again? Because it's all bullish to me.
Okay.
Like, this is just bull. What's the real? How do we take the facade off of what people see, especially this generation? They're not playing that stuff like we had to break through games. And then with everyone coming back to be, and I have to say with the selfishness and everybody want to be rich and, losing a focus on a purpose in life in this nation. That's how I feel. I'm thinking of when the civil rights were here and we marched and we got all of this stuff done, but I think we may have missed passing it on, how important it. Go right ahead.
Well, that is correct, though, because keep in mind, if you had never been there and done that, then you won't be ready for that, right? So I have two daughters. My youngest daughter, she's 29, and she's an attorney. She doesn't know anything about the civil rights movement, only for what the conversations that we have at the dinner table. So she hadn't been there, done that. So for her, it's not effective. For us, well, even for myself, I have not been there, done that, but I've heard a lot of conversations from my parents and my grandparents because they have been there, done that. But they passed that been there, done that over to me. But even I did not walk in it physically, because I think that if I did, I probably wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation with you now. I think I'd probably be somewhere in the grave because I'm very voiceful on my opinion. But I have seen a little bit of it. Now, for this Gen X generation, they don't have a clue. They know what we talk about. They know what we say at the dinner table, and they may have had just a teeny weeny bit of it, but not so much of it. Because when I hear my daughter say as an attorney, well, Mom, that's not my issue. That's not my fight. When she first started out for law school, she was an ADA. She was an assistant district attorney for Newton County. and she said that she saw injustice there. So I say, okay, why don't you stay there and fight? But Mom, that's not my fight. Injustice to her is not her fight because she hadn't been there, done that. But she see it, but she hasn't walked through it. So anytime you have not walked through something or felt something tangibly, you don't react as, as fast and as much. So for us now, what we have to do is, as a baby boomer for me, and I'm sure a baby boomer for you,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
we have to make sure that this Gen X generation feel it. And so by I say that, when I say feel it, be a registered voter. Make your voice be heard. And then I could say that as they move forward, that if they're not making their voice heard now, and we end up with, can I say a person's name? Can I call names here?
Absolutely.
I mean, because I just want to just make sure that I'm clear.
Absolutely.
But
that way we're clear to who we're speaking.
Right. If we end up with a dictatorship like Trump, if we end up with him, and not saying that, Kamala would probably be our best bet, or whatever.
She is our best bet.
Right. But not saying that, but I'm just saying that for us, we know what Trump wants to do, right? We know that he wants to be a dictatorship. We know that he's not good for good health care. We know that he wants to take school lunches out. We know the things that he wants to do. So if they end up with somebody like him, by not voicing their opinion, the next 4 years, they will probably see the effect from that, right? So if you are living it and then it's affecting you going forward, then you'll start voicing your opinion. You'll start going to the polls and vote. Because I hear people say all the time, oh, my vote don't matter. It doesn't matter to me if I vote or not. That's a lie. That is truly a lie. Your voice does matter. And then as we continue to have these conversations, talk, and teach, and continue to let people know what they are facing, I believe that eventually, it may not be in our time, but I do believe eventually that if we continue to have conversation about voting and getting the Gen X and what is the other one? The Z? Is it the Generation X and the Generation of Z? Whichever one that they are.
Everybody have alphabets going on.
I know, right? But if we continue to try to reach these young people and let them know how so important it is to voice their opinion, I think, maybe in the next 10 years that we'll be okay, hopefully anyway, because it's 4-year term, so.
And it has to be, they have to become involved.
Most definitely.
You have to become involved, and it has to become your issue.
Yes.
And I think that we have, I've been militant all my life. I'm at the rallies, and my daughter's with me, marching all of her life. So she gets some of that. Mm-hmm. But I think that we have protected them from the reality, and now they're sick of the facade. It's hard for them to participate because they know it's real.
Well,
So how do we get real about it again?
well, you have to talk. You have to have real conversations. Like my mother used to tell me, birds and the bees don't make babies. So you have to start having real conversations, and stop coloring. Just stop coloring it up and just have real conversations with people. I was on my way driving here this morning. They was talking about having conversations with your kids about sex, real conversation. And it's the same way about voting. It's the same way about your rights. It's the same way about any issues that you have. You have to start having real conversations and stop coloring it up. I don't know any other way but to sit here and tell you that water out there is greenish blue. Whatever color, lime color, whatever color it is. Because it's definitely not blue, right? So, so you have to just start having real conversations.
Unfortunately, and I'm going back to my job. This was sad. This was really sad. The little girl told me she wanted to commit suicide, and I said, well, how you gonna commit suicide? Oh, well, I looked on TikTok. This might not have anything to do with anything. But she said she looked on TikTok And she said, I looked at the video, and she called the name of the person who, you didn't see the video? I, I said, no, I didn't see the video. But she called the name of the person. They showed a picture of a 13-year-old girl on TikTok. There was the video of her hanging herself. And she said on internet, it appears that people who killing themselves are hanging themselves, so that's the best way to go.
But you know, that's mental illness. Mental illness is real too. See, those so those are other subjects and topics that people don't talk about neither. Mental illness is real.
But my fear in that, because you were saying we have to have real conversations, is it goes back to all the way to who's real to have these real conversations. You know, and let me use, for instance, for this election, when I was sitting there the other night, and I want to bring it back because this is our topic, so I'm gonna bring it back. And I was watching the 6th. My heart was racing. I had my hands over my face some of the time. It was just unimaginable that this was going on in the United States of America, and we're back to this same situation. And all I'm thinking of, if it didn't work for them in Washington, D.C., in this place, I mean, it was just unimaginable. I could only imagine that they're planning to do it all over next time. Y'all might have got control right here, but where is it's going to be everywhere next time. And I'm thinking of, we have leaderships in our homes, leaderships in our community, but we also have national leadership. But I think that we're living under such a facade that we're ignoring what really happened. Was that the first layer? Are we going deeper? Is it gonna? Are we missing something? Are we not facing the reality of the political state of our nation at this time? Are we?
Well, I haven't had an opportunity to watch 6, so I can't comment on that because I haven't had a chance to watch it. But I do know that in order for us as a country to have, I would say, balance, you know, I would use the word balance. When I say balance, I mean that if we had people in office that had the best interests of everybody, not black, not white, not Hispanic, not,
Democrat,
whoever.
not Republican.
Right. It's, for me, it's always a people issue, right? Because we're all human. I say this all the time, and I'm sure the people have heard me say it. My blood is the same color yours, right? When it hits the air, it turns red, but it's blue in our veins. So if we can ever get to a point of balance where the issues that may affect you as a woman or may affect this person as a man or this person as a transgender, or this person may want to be this or that person may want to be that. But at the end of the day, we are all humans regardless of which way that we want to go. So if we can get some balance in the United States or either in the world, I think that the world would just be a whole new place, right? But when we have people like Trump, I'm going back to this because this for me is an issue. When we have people like Trump that wants to come in and just bring us into an era of dictating, bring us into war, bring us into a place like Russia or whatever place that he wants to take us to, and not be a balanced United States. And then we become unbalanced. So then that's where all the issues comes from, right? So then it goes back to our voting. I can talk about SB 22 all day long. I can talk about HB Bill 641 all day long, because those are issues that we are facing right now. We're facing the issues about the Board of Elections as far as not certifying the the votes when they come in on November the 5th here in the state of Georgia. So, they planning to throw the election. I mean, so that's a lot of stuff that's going on. So,
Well, he did tell him to find votes, right?
Well,
Go find me these votes, and that's what he's doing.
well, on the last election, he called Brad and said, look, I need 11,200 and some odd votes in Georgia. Now by us dealing with this Board of Elections, it's going to be pretty much the same thing, because now they're saying that they don't have to certify at that particular time, but eventually they will have to certify, right? So, and now they want to hand count ballots. But the hand count ballots has to come to the same number as the machine ballots, right? So there's always error in human, right?
Right.
And so if that becomes to be the case of us hand counting ballots, I mean, Trump may have his 11,000 and some odd votes that he may want. But then that's the other part that I want to kind of like get to, if you don't mind.
No, please.
If we can move to the electoral college part, see, that's an issue for me. It goes back to the balance part, and then it also goes back to what people want, right?
Right.
So we all know that I would say your vote, because your vote does matters. But we all know that the presidential election votes are not done by popular votes. They are done by electoral college's vote, right?
Okay.
So if you can look back, I think the last 8 years when Hillary ran against Trump, Hillary won popular votes by 2 to 3 million votes. But unfortunately, Trump won the electoral colleges, which was 270 votes in order for him to win. So then that wasn't a people vote, and that wasn't a balanced vote neither, because if it was balanced, then that way the people would have had to have a choice of who they wanted to put into office. But we had a choice, but it did not move the electoral college the way that we wanted to move, because if it did, we would have had Hillary as the president instead of Trump that last time that he was in office. Now we're coming up for this election again. I'm sure, and I can say no doubt in my spirit, that Kamala will win popular votes. I'm scared that Trump will win electoral college votes. So that's where I am with that. So if we can get rid of, and I know that would be hard, because this thing has been in place since the 1800s, and it's going to take for the House, for the Democratic House, a Democratic president, a Democratic state from our federal all the way down to the local office, in order for us to come together as Democratic people to be able to get rid of the electoral college. Now that may not even never happen. I mean, because it's been in effect for so long. But if we can never get to that point, I really do believe that we can get that balance that I would love for us to have as people.
And this is the part for me where people have to become more involved. It's almost like a plan, like you were saying, part of the 2025 education. Do we have civics class? Because we don't even understand. When I'm talking to younger people, they don't understand the government and parts of the government. They don't understand that they're a part of that government. Kind of like when your daughter said, "That's not my problem." It's your problem because you're part of the government, and your daughter took a significant part when she became an attorney.
Exactly.
So you're a part of this government, because that's what the democratic process is about. So when we close our mouths and we turn our backs, right, then we're not a part of that government.
Right.
So in order for us to be effective on the people's side, we must know our government and know what we're fighting. See, this is one thing I saw when I watched the movie, and I keep bringing this movie up.
I'm going to have to watch 6.
Yeah, you're going to have to watch that.
Yeah.
Because Those people knew why they were out there. They knew why they were fighting. They had galvanized and they had planned. They had leaders through the crowd, gathering the crowd, pull the glass down, grab him. Somebody everywhere they were showing them. There was people leading in that crowd to destroy the nation, and that's because they knew what they wanted. We want our president. They knew what they wanted, and they had galvanized to come and get it.
Well, I do believe that that's what we're going to have to do too.
That's the point I'm getting to. Because when he stood up there, when they finally got him, Trump, to come out and talk to the people, you're good people, you're a lot of good people out there. Now, because earlier he had announced, we're going down to the Capitol. I was like, this man planned it. My point that I'm trying to make is the people were one with their president. How do we become? We're missing that because most of our people don't believe, are not connected with the government. Those people were connected with their government. That was one. And their government had their plan. And they took those people into his plan.
Well, we have to keep on having conversation like you're having now. We have to keep on talking about it. Just keep talking about it. Keep talking about it. I mean, that's the only thing that I could say. You have to continue to have dialogue. You have to continue to reach out. Like AT&T had a slogan a long time ago, right? Reach out and touch someone. So we have to keep on having conversations, reaching this generation that don't believe, that don't have a clue, and then making sure that we put people in office and leadership that will continue to walk us through peace. That's one thing that I would say, peace. That's what we need. That's what we need.
After I watch this movie,
I'm gonna have to watch 6.
We're planning peace, but those people are preparing for war. They had all the weapons they needed, all the leaders, I guess it was the leaders that had all of the gear on. And I know it was one incident, but it was a tragic, it was a tragic.
Is that on an HBO film or something?
I saw it at the movies. I think it's just coming out.
Oh, okay. I'm going to have to go see that.
Yeah, I think it's just coming out. And it was like the people who are here what I'm saying is we don't have that much time.
No,
we don't have enough time. How in the world can we, even our leaders, that we can, I guess I'm just so flabbergasted right now. But how in the world do we even get a mind to
get them motivated
to be like, to even be able to deal with that?
Well, okay, I haven't watched 6, but I do know that the same thing that worked in the 60s could work today, right? There was rallies like we're having now. We're having rallies, we're having marches, we're having conversations, we're having dialogue. And the same thing that we did then to get people motivated and to get them involved is the same things that we have to continue to do now. Rally, conversation, talk about it. Things like what we are doing now. That's the only way that you can reach someone. And then you have to have action too. That's another thing. You have to show action. Because you can talk about it all day long, but the young folks say, what? You got to be about it? You got to be about this process. So, and then us in our time and generation, we have to be about it in order to show them. Because even my daughter, as smart as she is, an attorney, very smart young lady, but I have to show her as being about it, right? So she said this morning, Mom, where are you going? Oh, I'm going to be about it. I'm going to have a conversation about this voter registration. I'm going to have a conversation to talk to people about this Project 2025 when I was in Washington, getting the information so I can bring back to Georgia so people can be educated and know what they are hearing and what Project 2025 is really about. So it's about, continuing to rally, march, educate, and have conversation. I mean, what else can you do?
Right, and this
Got to
is
be
what
about it.
I want to talk about our leaders, and then I want to talk about, we have leaders like you that we appreciate. That's real and real. I know that because I followed you for a long time.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's good. But everybody, I mean, like a lot of us, like full of bull. We'll tell the people anything. We had a conversation the other night, like, what's this guy gonna do? So
That guy gonna crucify you if he get in seat. That's one thing he's gonna do. He's gonna take away your rights.
So what is there something that we can do with the political structure?
I would say get rid of the electoral college. That's I mean that's on that side for the presidential side. Mm-hmm. But all the other seats are popular winning. From your governor, your state senator, your U.S. senators. All your other seats are popular votes. So get rid of this electoral college. So then the way we can choose our leader, we can choose our president of the United States. They say that we are choosing them by voting in our state. Okay, like for Georgia. Georgia has 16 electoral seats, right? Mm-hmm. And those seats are made up of our United States Congress.
Right.
House reps. Then of course we have the 2 United States, which is Ossoff and Warnock. But then we have 16, so 60. So total we have 18 now. At first, we didn't have those 2 United States senators for Georgia. So now we have 18 electoral seats, and they supposed to our vote, our popular vote supposed to sway our electoral college votes to send our votes for the presidency. So I hope I'm saying that right. It's a process.
Right.
We vote popular
they're
votes.
Representing
right.
us.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. They represent us to say, okay, do we want to give all 16 to Kamala, or do we want to give all 16 to Trump? Are we going to give 8? Or we going to do 9? However they want to split it up. So we're supposed to be able to be those people. So if we do not eliminate that process, we will never be able to choose our president. I say it again, I truly believe that Kamala will win the popular vote. But I'm really scared that she would not win the electoral colleges. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to get in trouble. I don't care. But at the end of the day, she's a black female. At the end of the day. They say she's not black, but they say that you got this, you have a 1% black blood, you're black. So anyway, at the end of the day, she's a black woman. And that's just fact. So are they ready for that? I don't know. Were they ready for Obama, which I never would have thought that I would have seen a black president, a black male, in 2008. Never would have thought that would never happen. So that happened. But it was, to me, that was a puppet string kind of thing. But that's a whole other conversation. But are we really ready to have Kamala, a black woman, as our president of this United States of America? I hope so. I don't think they are ready.
We're gonna have a black woman, or we're gonna have communists.
So what do you do, right?
What do you do? You're like,
ooh, child, that's a good question right there.
But when you think of, I'm gonna get in a little trouble here. When you think of a black woman has been the foundation of all of our lives. Mm-hmm. The other day, somebody asked me, "You think a woman could run this country? Do you really think a woman can do it?"
Of course we can.
You know what I said? Look at the mess this country's in. Somebody got to step up for y'all, because it was a guy I was talking to. It was y'all who got us in the situation we in now. No way out. No, y'all don't even have an answer. Like where is The answer, my big thing is, my passion is with the people. You know, I walk the streets. I'm motivating people. I'm talking to people who's not out here. Look, you have to care about you. You have to vote for you. Your vote should be for you. You can't look at a person or a face. What is your life gonna be like after this? And in walking the streets, like I said earlier, most of the people are afraid that we don't even know or have an idea or see what life is gonna be like.
No, we really don't.
After this election, what is life gonna be like? Are we gonna be in civil war? Because people might fight back. We don't know. Maybe since January 6th, the other side have strategized. You know, and are we gonna have a nation after this? Are we gonna know our nation after this?
That's a good question. But one thing for sure, you better put your trust in God if you believe.
You know, I was
fact.
talking to this religious person, and they say God already knows, and it's gonna already be done, and we just have to. And I said, if God did it all, He would not have had to send Jesus. If we are Christian and we believe,
Right.
Jesus came because we couldn't get it right.
Right. That's right.
That's number one.
Oh wow, that's
if
cool.
you're a believer, so we have to do something. And if you read your Bible, there was leaders that prayed and say, should we go fight?
Right.
And got instructions.
Exactly.
But now, so if the Bible is what we're standing on, who's praying to get instructions to go to war? When we say we are not a Christian nation anymore. So can we depend on it as a nation?
Was born, I mean, it was founded on Christianity, though. This nation was founded on Christianity.
And I believe that he would save the remnant. But it doesn't mean that we won't lose the war.
That's true.
Because we have lost the war, you know?
Well, I don't think we lost the war yet.
I mean, not this war, this
okay,
war. I mean, we
okay.
have lost. He has said, go to war.
Right.
And he would say, go to war and you're going to lose. I read the Bible. So it's not like because we love the Lord, for those of us that do, that's going to cause us to win the war.
That's true. So since we are part of this world, right? And we're part of this process, you better vote your way out. Better vote your way out. Now, I mean, and get rid of these electoral colleges.
And I want to talk to, if I can get a message to everybody who's sitting in office, they need to take a responsibility for that office.
Yeah, that's true.
I had a conversation last night. Oh, you know, they're paying such and such amount of money for nurses to go work over here. And I said, how could you be a part of that? What is that doing to the people that you're supposed to be taking care of?
Exactly.
And I think that whenever we take a job or a position, if it's not for service, it's gonna rot.
Well, you know, as Democrats, we are elected officials, and it all goes back to you really don't have a say-so because there's no power for you. If I'm outnumbered, you know, you talk about war, right? So if I have 10,000 soldiers over here and I got 5,000 soldiers over here, how can I fight against you? So you're talking about, when you talk about...
unless God sent you.
Right, exactly. but when you talk about Washington and the power that Democrats have and the power that the Republican has, it's hard to win a battle because even though we had the president as Democrat, even though we had Kamala as our first vice chair, was supposed to be the deciding vote factor, right? But the House side is I outweigh us in Congress. And believe it or not, that's where all the rules and the bills are made. I mean, that's where the voice comes from. It comes from the House of Congress. And so if we're outnumbered there, there's not too much that we can do as Democrats. So
And
we have to.
I think it's because they strategize. Look how our governor, Trump's best friend, he's just a mini reflection of who he is to me.
Talking about Kemp, right?
Kemp, right?
Call his name, right? Talking about Kemp.
He's just a sophisticated Trump. But to me, they strategize. They go in and make up these laws and they make up these rules and then they slap it. Bam! We don't have a plan. We're always on defense.
Well, yeah, because we're never in control. We're always on defense. Now, when was the last time we have been in control? We just had census, right? And so that put them in control to draw lines as far as the districting, for our voting process. So if you notice that they always draw the lines according to them to always be in control. But then when we get in control, it's been such a long time. I can't remember when the last time we were. But we never draw the lines for us to be in control. So when I say that, okay, like for me now, I'm kind of like moving forward. But for me now, I have Congressman David Scott. I had Congressman Hank Johnson. All right, and so the lines are drawn farther and farther away from us to be in control.
So I say, why can't we have a strategy?
And the strategy
to get
is
around. Come on, tell us.
Okay,
this is gonna be the most important statement of the morning.
And the strategy is to stop running against one another. Is to stop running against Democrats. If there's a Democrat in the seat that's doing their job, don't run for another. Go to a red district. Go to a red district and run. You may not win today, you may not win tomorrow, but continue to run in those red districts. Because that is going to be the only way that we're going to be able to take control of some areas. But if we continue to flip seats, the same seat, when I say flip, not flip from our red to blue, but blue all the time, then we're not moving. We're not moving the needle. But if we have
somebody blue that's sitting there, and he's not strategizing, or she's not connecting, then I don't think we should leave that blue person there. And then we got to get a blue person in there that's going to bring some power to that seat.
Well, that's true in a sense now.
Okay,
that's true in a sense. Because see, it's the same way that we're dealing that we in Rockdale have dealt with some issues on that same type of statement that you just made. But so you have to look at the bigger picture. Okay, like for an example, we had 2 Democrat seats in Rockdale, 2 Democrat county seats in Rockdale. And of course, everybody got baggage. They had their baggage and they wasn't doing what they're supposed to do for the county. So then, of course, we had a candidate person to come in and say, okay, now I'm a Democrat, but this person has been sitting red for 100 years or whatever, right? But the goal was to maintain the district, the seat. The goal wasn't to maintain the person, right? The goal was to maintain the district to keep it Democrat. Now, eventually, we're going to go back to this person and say, okay, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. We're going to put another Democrat in office. But don't put a Republican in the seat at that time.
Exactly.
Right. Okay, but you made a statement and said that if this Democrat is not doing what they're supposed to be doing, get rid of them. True. But you get rid of them at a certain time and point.
Like I was just referring to the statement you made, blue don't run against blue.
Right.
But I was just making that point to say that sometimes maybe blue have to replace blue so we can stay blue and spread blue. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, but if you continue to flip blue, you're not doing anything but just exchanging water.
Yeah, we don't
That's
want to
all
keep
you're
doing
doing,
that.
right?
We don't want to keep doing
So you want to, not saying that you want to keep your bad blue, but you want to just keep blue over here. But then
Right.
at the same time, you want to take some red out and put some more blue over there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So now we got blue over here, and we got a little blue spraying in on
Yeah.
that side. And then, okay, so now you made a statement to say that if this person over here is not doing their job, then we're going to circle back and say, all right, now you're not doing your job. We're going to put somebody that's more qualified. But we're going to continue to flip these red seats.
Right.
And that's going to be the only way that we're going to have to do it. Now, you can't flip a red seat by having all Democratic values, because if there's a Republican person, they are more conservative than they are Democratic, right? I mean, not Democratic, but they are more conservative than they are liberal. I say that. So in order for us to flip red seats, we have to have candidates that are liberal in a sense and conservative at the same time. That would be ideology in order to get this person that has been voting red all their life to say, okay, I can get with you. Just like, Cheney daughter got with Kamala now, just like some of the other generals that was on Trump's side, right, coming together, and saying that this guy here going to be, dangerous, and I can kind of like get with you, even though I may not approve of all of your values, but I can get with you more than I can over here. So that's the same process.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
That's all.
Not Democratic or Republic, but Democratic and Republic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Come to the same common goal, because we don't want destruction. And Trump is going to be destruction. I'm telling you, that dude is going to be destruction.
He's already proven that. Go see that movie. But anyway, it's time for us to go. I have really enjoyed this conversation. Leave us with something that will take us all, make us think, and spread out and become electric.
Make sure that you become a voter. Registration has already ended. It ended October the 7th. But you got time to vote in the next election, because keep in mind, our governor is up for election in 2025. Kemp cannot run again. Praise God. I ain't gonna say praise God for that, but he cannot run again. Early voting starts October the 15th. The election is November the 7th, the 5th or the 7th. One of those. I can't remember. The 5th, I believe. It's on a Tuesday. It's always on a Tuesday. The first week in November. So make sure that you go vote. Register to vote for the next election. Continue to have dialogue in regards to your issues. Speak loud. Don't be quiet. Be about it. Michelle Obama said, do something about it, right? And then I heard people say, if you see something, tell somebody. Do something about it. So don't sit idle-minded. Be a voter. Voice your opinion, right?
Yes.
And tell somebody that voting does matter. And thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.